All right, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is accusing Russia of playing for time this morning in order to continue its war in his country. These comments come after President Trump said Ukraine and Russia would start negotiations immediately towards securing a ceasefire, and that followed separate calls with Zelenskyy and Putin. CBS News reporter Olivia Gazis is back in the mix here at CBS News and joins us now. Olivia, great to see you. A warm welcome back to the airwaves here. What should we make of the Monday calls now that we've heard from President Trump, we've heard from Zelenskyy, and I'm wondering if there's anything new out of the Kremlin?
Thank you so much, Errol. It is great to be back. Great to be with you. You are right that President Trump made it seem like these peace talks could get off the ground immediately, was his word. But the picture, as it turns out, was a lot more mixed coming from the Kremlin. President Putin used sort of a Russian word salad to say that we could work on a memorandum for a possible future peace accord. Needless to say, direct talks are not underway at the moment, and it's not clear when or where they could start. Both leaders did say that the tone of the conversation, the spirit of the conversation, which we know lasted more than 2 hours with translation, was positive, was constructive. But that's precisely why Ukrainian President Zelenskyy is saying this is Vladimir Putin stalling for time. This is his effort to wriggle out of the sanctions that the Europeans and the U.S. have been threatening now for weeks. The U.K. actually just moments ago issued a whole new swath of sanctions on Russia, which is an indication that they're prepared to move forward to cajole them with sticks to the negotiating table. President Trump yesterday indicated that he was still more inclined to use carrots, dangling these prospects of major business deals with Russia rather than getting them to the table with a new swath of sanctions from the U.S. side.
I mean, we know that speaking after those calls yesterday, President Trump expressed optimism about the possibility of securing a ceasefire, but he also left the door open to things falling apart. Let's just quickly show that for our viewers.
I think something's going to happen. It's a very big egos involved, I tell you, big egos involved. But I think something's going to happen, and if it doesn't, I'd just back away, and they're going to have to keep going.
And we heard something similar from Vice President J.D. Vance, that if the two sides couldn't agree to something, the U.S. was out. Is the Trump administration truly willing to walk away? And if so, what would that mean?
It's definitely what they're saying. As you pointed out, the president has said it, the vice president has said it, the secretary of state has said it, all of them indicating that the U.S. wants to push forward on a deal that ends the bloodshed, ends the hundreds of soldiers who are losing their lives on the battlefield every day, but are not willing to dispatch senior U.S. officials around the world for talks that wind up being inconclusive or unproductive. And so they have said the U.S. could well walk away. The risk of doing that, though, is that it disincentivizes effectively the Russians from coming to the table at all. Because if their calculus is why, if Ukraine's major military backer in the form of the U.S. loses interests and walks away in 3 months or 6 months, doesn't that strengthen our negotiating leverage at the table? So this tactic of stalling for time appears to be the one that is the savviest at the moment, and which is why Ukrainian President Zelenskyy is so strenuous about getting to the table with no conditions now.
Yeah, and with nothing happening, that means that the war continues and so many innocent Ukrainians are caught in the middle. Olivia, great to see you. We appreciate the update from the State Department.
Thank you, Errol.